Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Brian if you happen to be new around here, and what we're going to be doing in today's video is going to be showing you guys how to make money by fishing and profiting as much as humanly possible. There's a lot that I want to cover in this guide, but if you have any questions after this, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Hit me up on Discord or Twitter, and if you're looking for a fun server to play around with, we are located on Orofena. I can't pronounce it. Orofena. As the server here on NA East. But without further ado, let's dive in and show you how you can make a lot of money by simply fishing. So to dive in, first and foremost, for this experiment, I pretty much fished for the past hour. Now, so that we were all on the same page, my life can get kind of hectic, so I ended up parking myself outside of hotspots, 2-star hotspots, and pretty much logged in, fished, would get busy and get called away, and then I just log back in and fish. So ultimately that hour was divided over the course of it, so these results will definitely vary when it comes down to the loot that you'll end up getting. All right guys, let's dive in and let me show you first and foremost what I'm working with in terms of my skill set, what I've been using for fishing, and I've now actually surpassed level 200 and have gotten some materials from this fishing grind. From a gear perspective, I am using the Fierce Fisherman gear, outside of the fact that I've got the harvester gloves because I don't know what happened to my fishing gloves, so I'm still looking for wherever I ended up putting those. We'll find them eventually, but I'm using fishing gear, and I've also finished my fisherman quest, and thus I have a legendary fishing pole, in this case the Angry Earth fishing pole, which gives me those additional buffs. I think that you can profit and make a lot of money off of fishing regardless of this gear. In fact, one of the things that actually made me so profitable up to this point while fishing, I actually went out and celebrated, and I got myself a nice little prize. I bought myself the tier 4 trophy, major fishing of trophy, which increases my fishing luck by 9,000. So that was actually quite pricey on my server, and I had made enough that I could afford to actually go ahead and spend that. And right now I'm testing out to see if I can make even more money now. So stay tuned for future videos about fishing and New World, not just fishing, but New World here on the channel, and I'll let you guys know ultimately how that ends up panning out in the long run. But in terms of additional loot besides the fish that I have gathered, and you can see those here basically, and I'll tell you how that happened, I also have gotten parcel of fishing materials, 7 treasure chests, a package of specialized fishing materials, and a crate of fishing materials, which will open up here in just a second. In terms of fish, I've got a wide collection of fish and different types of fish that are important. You'll notice that I actually accept the town board quests on the fish turn-ins, so that way they get marked in my inventory, so I know what ones are incredibly special, so I don't accidentally break them down. Now, in terms of the time commitment to gather this fish, ultimately it's a little bit over an hour of my time right now, and the reason it ends up being more fish than maybe you would actually get if you just hard casted for an hour, I fish primarily hotspots, and due to the nature of my life, I would put in 5 minutes at the hotspot, drain the hotspot, get called into life, other things would come back. So I'm real world, it's not an hour, but in-game actual fishing time, it was an hour. So I'd log back in, hotspot was right up, and I would just get back to casting. So that actually helped out a lot. So here's what the plan is and what we're going to do in this video. We're going to open these chests. We're going to list the items that have a blue symbol over their heads, see what we're going to get for those. And then we'll essentially, we're going to analyze to see which fish should be listed on the markets, and then anything else would be broken down and turned into bait, or just listed for the materials that they provide and that we can sell on the markets, and I can show you hopefully how much you can make. Obviously prices will vary, but let's go ahead and get to work, and then let's see what we can come up with. All right, so we've now opened our boxes and gotten some materials, some gold, some gems, a bunch of different things, some new baits. And if I was going to give any feedback, I wish we could separate baits from the fish. So if Amazon ends up listening to this video, or anybody shares this with Amazon, thank you, A. And then B, yeah, if we could separate bait from fishing, that would be very handy. So what I'm going to do now, and we'll just obviously jump to the next part so you don't have to sit here and watch me do it. I'm going to see which of these fish I'm going to list, and then we'll look at over my overall listings and look at how much money we're going to hopefully potentially bring in by fishing. Now, while your server and my server might differ, I think that there's a pattern that we can easily pick up when it comes to fishing and how it all works together. First and foremost, there's a few money fish that are going to be easy to sell, and they're going to always be in demand. And what you're actually looking for when it comes to fish, see if I push in salmon here, let me just pick on large salmon and hit sell. What you're also looking for is a history of buy orders, especially. Now, if you're a new player and you need the money, there's nothing wrong with selling it for the buy order, because if I go to list these 6 salmon, I'm going to end up paying a fee, and I'm putting myself kind of in a risk position to say I'm willing to take 61 if anybody wants to come and buy them for this price, or I could take the easy money and sell it to the person who is selling them, in this case for 20 at the current highest price that they're willing to pay. Now, I can go ahead and list the salmon because I know personally I'm going to sell those. Medium salmon also come in at a really good number. So if I go back to salmon, and you can see here that the store could definitely use a little work. And I'm going to go ahead and say place sell order. I can choose to take a nice payout instantly if I want, or I can choose to go ahead and sell these 15 salmon. And I'm going to go ahead and put it just a little bit less in this case so that I'll be on the top listing in hopes that I can sell those out before they refresh them. So that's the risk when it comes to selling, but what you're looking for is these kind of money fish that you don't have to do anything extra. Salmon being one of them, medium and large. You can go ahead and just break down the smalls. You're not going to get much money for them. But the other 2 items, as well as one legendary, tadpole does incredibly well. If I go ahead and see here, I can see the tadpole, and again, all of these items you're noticing have that blue marker that I have attached. You can see a history of buy orders of people willing to pay in this case 355 per, or I can go ahead and choose to sell them here at the 16 marker, but I'll go ahead and lower mine to the 15, and so I can hopefully get these to move for me. Then, and finally, the last item outside of the legendary snail, I have some aquatic snails, and the snails are going to be a little bit different of a risk. You can see here not a massive amount of people looking for them here at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and put that at 850 and list these up for sale in hopes that they get sold. So let's take a look at some legendary items now, because I think this is kind of important. I can see here place sell order, and what's really key is that again I see listings for people willing to go ahead and pay. Now I only have one. That means I'm going to have a listing fee, or if I want to, I can go ahead and choose to sell instantly. But we'll go ahead and take a risk. We'll go ahead and put this up for 650 and see if we can actually get it to move here. But the other thing is, like, when it's not all legendary fish are created the same. If we look at the Manji, I don't see any listings, and then yet I do see a bunch of fish already listed, and so I don't know right now if this is a fish that's going to move. And that could be, again, that gamble in terms of it. And since I don't have a massive volume, when we start talking about 1648 and it's going to cost me 470 just to take that risk, that's already cutting into that. So there's much better things I can go and do with my time. And so the Manji isn't anything that I'm personally worried about selling at this moment. So now we've listed a few of my money fish, but we've got plenty of fish and things to work with. And this is where the real work begins. You can hold C to go into salvage and actually start breaking down the fish. Now I've looked at each and every one of these fish. You can go and take a look at each one on your server and decide what is the best thing for you to do in terms of the materials. But I highly recommend just go ahead and get rid of them and break them all down. So let's go and do that, and then we'll jump into the next part of the guide. So having broken down the fish, and it won't let me break down my Manji, so we'll have to see what happens with that in the future. I've gotten a collection of new goods. I've gotten 200 fish fillets, 83 fish oils, 104 firm fish fillets, 20 delicate fish fillets, 8 tender fish fillets, a whole heaping helping, 128 squid meats, some squid ink, and then this was already here in my inventory. So overall, I've got new items. You can see here also one of these items is a mission item. It's tracked with that blue. Again, I accept the town quest for the items that they're requesting, so that way I always can kind of see that and know that they have a different type of value listed on the market for anybody who's looking for a quick turn in. So let me go and get these all listed for sale, and then we can see ultimately what we might be able to bring in by fishing. So now that we actually listed our fish, even while listing, I've seen some sells actually come through already, but I also want to list the materials, the smelting materials, the gems and things like that. So let's go ahead and get started on those, and then we'll wrap up this video. So as the orders that I've placed continue to roll in and bring in money to me as the player now, I can safely say if everything that I've listed sold for what I've sold it at, I'd be looking at basically 3,400 coin per hour. We're going to put an ish on that due just to the conditions that I listed at the start of this video. At the end of the day, I find fishing to be both very relaxing, very enjoyable, and very profitable. Also, as you get those, chests for leveling up past, once you're level 200, all of a sudden you're also end game grinding, working on your own expertise gear system as well, just by fishing and being able to make money. I've made so much money so far that yeah, I'm actually treating myself in game to things that other people provide. And that's, I think, the whole point behind making money in these kind of games. Up next is a tier 4 house. So I'm going to be grinding out some reputation in a zone, getting that knocked out. And then yes, I'm gonna have to be getting back to fishing and making plenty of money. Now again, as the TLDR here at the end of the video, perfect for everybody who's stuck all the way through this video. Be sure to hit those town boards, grab the various different fishing turn-ins so that way when you go out and fish, you know you've got a money fish. And then essentially, if anything is moving on the markets, look for those buy orders. So that way you know that there is a demand for that fish, and maybe you don't break down that specific fish and you list it on your server in that regards, but otherwise break it down, sell the materials and the parts, or use them yourself in crafting and recipes and things like that. Guys, hopefully this has been a help. Hopefully you got something good out of this video. Let me know, and feel free to like, favorite, subscribe, and share if you feel like I earn it. Would love you over here on this New World channel of mine. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh.